We most sincerely apologize for the long break in transmission during the news. We regret any inconvenience this would have caused you. Good to know that you're there. As we told you, protest over the January 14 Supreme Court judgment sacking Emeka Ihedioha and declaring Hope Uzodinma as the duly elected governor of the Imo State may not be going away soon. The Coalition in Defense of Nigerian Democracy and Constitution has approached the embassies of the United States and the United Kingdom in Abuja, demanding visa restriction on all the 7 members of the Supreme Court panel that delivered the Imo State governorship election judgment. Clearview TV's Rose Audu now completes the story.
During a protest walk to the embassies, the coalition of civil society groups presented letters calling for a ban on the 7 Supreme Court justices from visiting the 2 countries on grounds that their judgment on the March 9, 2019 governorship election in Imo State is a miscarriage of justice. Briefing newsmen at the U.S. Embassy, the spokesperson for the Coalition in Defense of Nigerian Democracy and Constitution, Ariyo Dari Atoye, said the Supreme Court judgment sacking Emeka Ihedioha and replacing him with Hope Uzodinma left them with no choice but to ask for visa restrictions on the 7 justices on the panel, saying this will serve as a deterrent to judicial officers who use their office to undermine democracy.
What happened at the level of the Supreme Court was indeed a travesty of justice. And today, the image of the Supreme Court in the eye of Nigeria is at the lowest ebb. It is at hit the rock bottom. And that's why we are here today to ask the government of the United States of America and the United Kingdom that they should extend their visa restriction even to members of the judiciary. Since the executive appointed CJN took over at the Supreme Court, technicalities at the expense of the substantive have become the order of the day, such that it has created a dangerous latitude for what many have perceived as a manipulative adjudication of cases at the expense of a well-established principle of stare decisis. This could only explain why the Supreme Court arrived at its widely condemned verdict that removed Emeka Ihedioha and Uzodinma versus Ihedioha.
Also speaking, other activists, including Deji Adeonju and Adebayo Raphael, described the Supreme Court verdict as a travesty of justice and that there is no better time to take concrete action against the Nigerian judiciary than now.
The judiciary should naturally be the last hope of the common man. And that's why we are saying that these things are cause of concern, and whether anybody likes it or not, the Constitution is very clear about what we practice in Nigeria is a democracy, and that anyone who does anything, contrary to the provisions in the Constitution, yes, the court has the power for judicial review, but that power of the Constitution that has been granted to the judiciary for judicial review must be done, exercised judicially and judiciously. And which is why Nigerians are complaining over this Imo issue, that it was not judicially and judiciously, applied. So yes, the insinuations by Nigerians are ripe and they are right.
In a completely hopeless situation. And I must say that whilst it is noble that we are here, I must admit that it is also shameful. It is shameful that here in Nigeria, we have been so battered to the point that we no longer see hope in our own public institutions, that we now have to cry to foreign countries for them to help us. It is indeed a shameful thing. And again, I think that it is important to mention that although all these problems are besetting our country, and now the judiciary, which used to be said to be the last hope of the common man, has become another arm of the ruling party, we cannot grow weary, neither can we relent.
Among those, the coalition wants a visa restriction placed on them are the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad, Justices Kudirat Kekere Ekum, Sylvester Uguta, Olukayode Ariwola, Amiru Sanusi, Amina Augie, and Uwani Abaaji. Rose Audu, reporting for Clearview Television.